The 2025 NFL Draft is getting closer, and the Chicago Bears have a big decision to make. They could stay put and use their picks, or they could trade back to gain even more draft capital. Moving back would give them 5 picks in the top 104 in the top 50. Huge assets for a team that still needs key pieces. Right now, the Bears already have a solid draft setup, with 4 picks in the top 103 in the top 50. But trading back could help them stockpile talent in critical areas: offensive line, defensive line, and running back, positions that are deep in this draft class. If a top prospect like Ashton Jeanty, Will Campbell, or Mason Graham isn't available at number 10, moving back would make a lot of sense. One potential trade partner? The Cincinnati Bengals. They've just handed out major contracts to their wide receivers and won't have a ton of cap space to work with. Their biggest issue? Offensive line. They'll want to protect their quarterback, and the Bears could take advantage of that. In this trade scenario, Chicago would send the number 10 and number 149 picks to Cincinnati in exchange for number 17 and number 49. That still keeps the Bears in a great spot while adding another valuable second-rounder. According to trade value charts, this move is fair for both sides, giving the Bears a net gain of 295 points. Something over the cap also considers a solid deal. After the trade, the Bears would have an even stronger draft setup: picks 17, 39, 41, 49, and 72, all within the top 100, with 4 inside the top 50. Plus, they'd still have late-round picks at 234 and 241 to take chances on some high-upside players. Now, what do the Bears still need? Defensive line depth, offensive line reinforcements, a running back, a safety, maybe a tight end or wide receiver. The offensive line is mostly set, though Braxton Jones is still a bit of a question mark. But even if they want a future left tackle, they don't have to reach for one early. They can find value in the later rounds or roll with Jones for now. With the number 17 pick from the Bengals, the Bears take edge rusher Mike Green from Marshall. This guy has been compared to Khalil Mack, explosive, powerful, and only 20 years old. He's got the speed and size to wreak havoc off the edge. Last season, he dominated with 17 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, and 32 hurries in just 13 games. His PFF grades? 92.4 overall, 91.4 in pass rush, and 90.2 in run defense. Elite across the board. Green didn't do much at the combine, but he showed strong measurables: 35-inch vertical, 32-inch arms, and a 4.57 40-yard dash. That's elite athleticism for a young edge rusher. If he develops as expected, the Bears could have a lethal duo with Montez Sweat. And with his rookie contract lined up for 4 years, Chicago would have plenty of flexibility for the future. For a team looking to build a long-term defensive powerhouse, this move checks all the boxes. Now, let's get into the rest of the draft. So far, the board is shaping up well. At number 17, the Bears grab edge rusher Mike Green, giving them a high-upside pass rusher. Now, at number 39, it's time to address a major need: offensive line depth. The pick? Donovan Jackson, an interior lineman out of Ohio State. Jackson has experience at both guard and tackle. Though he looked much better on the inside, he struggled a bit when playing left tackle early in the season, but once he moved to left guard, he took off. At 6 feet 4 inches, 315 pounds, he brings size and strength to the interior. His PFF grade of 71.8 ranked among the top 10 guards in college football last season. He posted a solid 70.2 run blocking grade and a respectable 69.9 in pass protection, allowing 2 sacks, 5 QB hits, and 12 pressures. At the combine, he didn't do much testing, but his measurables stood out: 33.5-inch arms, nearly 10-inch hands, and a 5.2-second 40-yard dash. He's got the size and length to play multiple spots, but his future is likely at guard. Learning behind veterans like Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, and Darnell Wright will only help his development. The Bears need depth on the offensive line, and they get it here with a player who has the potential to start down the road. So the first two picks lock in talent in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Smart, fundamental moves. Now at number 41, it's time to add a dynamic piece to the backfield. The pick, Kaleb Johnson, the powerful running back out of Iowa. At 6'0", 225 pounds, Johnson is a bruiser. He's tough to bring down, can block, and does all the little things right. His 86.5 PFF grade last season proves his impact, and his numbers back it up. 6.4 yards per carry, over 1,500 rushing yards, and 21 touchdowns. He dominated as a workhorse and brings a physical presence that would complement DeAndre Swift perfectly in 2025. At the Combine, he didn't blow anyone away, but his 33-inch arms stand out for a running back, giving him a strong reach to help in pass protection. His hand size, nearly 10 inches, also makes ball security less of a concern. He ran a 4.57 in the 40, not blazing fast, but plenty quick for his size. He's the type of back who tires out defenses by running through them, not around them. Think David Montgomery in Detroit's system? He'll be the power runner while Swift brings the explosiveness. That covers three of the Bears' biggest needs: edge rusher, offensive line, and running back. But they're not done in the trenches just yet. At number 49, they add a key piece to the interior defensive line, Alfred Collins out of Texas. Collins is a massive presence at 6 feet 6 inches, 312 pounds. He plays with power and has the potential to be a dominant run stopper. His 87.2 PFF grade last season at Texas speaks for itself. The pass rush numbers aren't flashy. 1 sack, 0 QB hits, 17 hurries. But his 85.0 run defense grade was among the best in the country. That's exactly what the Bears need, someone who can clog the middle and make life easier for the linebackers. At the Combine, his numbers weren't eye-popping, but for a guy his size, he's got enough athleticism to be effective. A 26-inch vertical and an 8-foot 8-inch broad jump show some explosiveness, and his 34.5-inch arms will help him disrupt passing lanes and keep blockers off him. He's got the frame, the tools, and the attitude to be a force in the middle. Now, the Bears have addressed both lines and added a power back, but they still have one more pick in the top 100, number 72nd, and with that pick, they grab offensive lineman Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. Ratledge is a rock-solid depth piece who can develop into a starter. At 6 feet 6 inches, 320 pounds, he's got the size and strength to hold up in the trenches. His PFF grade of 74.4 last season proves his consistency, with a strong 74.7 run blocking grade and an even better 77.3 in pass protection. He allowed just 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits, and 4 pressures all year. He's also an impressive athlete for his size. A 4.98 40-yard dash shows he can move well, and his 9 feet 1 inch broad jump highlights his explosiveness. He's got solid hand size and arm length for an interior lineman, and with the right coaching, he could develop into a long-term starter. Learning behind veterans like Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson will only help his growth. So that's 4 top 50 picks, 2 in the defensive trenches, 1 on the offensive line, and a running back to balance the offense. All of them fill major needs, and all come on cost-controlled rookie contracts. Smart moves for a team looking to build long-term success. We're already into the back half of this draft, which is wild to say when pick number 72 is still on the board. But that's what happens when you load up early. Now, let's keep it rolling. At number 72, the Bears grab Tate Ratledge, a big, nasty offensive guard. Just look at the guy, rocking that mullet like he stepped straight out of the '85 Bears. He's got the size, the attitude, and the power to be a long-term piece on this offensive line. And with Chicago looking to build a dominant front, adding depth at guard makes too much sense. Now, let's talk about a guy I've been pounding the table for. Dean Clark, safety out of Fresno State. The Bears need depth behind Kevin Byard, and with Jaquan Brisker's health situation still something to keep an eye on, bringing in another safety is a smart move. Clark might be flying under the radar, but the tape doesn't lie. At 6 feet 0 inches, 225 pounds, he's a hard hitter who can hold his own in coverage. Last season, he put up 69 total tackles, an 86.5 PFF grade, and allowed just an 81.3 passer rating when targeted. Oh, and he had 7 forced incompletions. That's the kind of energy and playmaking ability you want in your secondary. Overlooked? Maybe. But this guy can ball, and he'd be a great addition to a defense that needs more reliable depth on the back end. Now, at number 241, the Bears go back to offense and add a tight end, Lachey from Iowa. Yep, another Hawkeye coming in to help. Chicago has been rumored to be looking for a tight end, and now they get one. Lachey is a big target at 6 feet 6 inches, 251 pounds, built exactly like you want in a blocking tight end. His numbers weren't great this past season. 231 receiving yards, 0 touchdowns, and a 58.8 PFF grade, but that's not what you bring him in for. His value is in the run game, where he can take on defenders and open lanes for the backs. With Marcedes Lewis unlikely to return, the Bears need a physical tight end who can handle those duties. Lachey fits the bill, so let's take a step back and look at the full draft class. Edge, Mike Green, fills a major need on a rookie contract for 4 years. OL Donovan Jackson can play both guard and tackle, adds flexibility. RB, Kaleb Johnson, a physical back who helps in pass pro and brings a dynamic element. DT, Alfred Collins, 6 feet 6 inches, 332 pounds. With him and Gervin Dexter Sr., good luck running up the middle. OL, Tate Ratledge, key depth piece, potential starter down the road. S, Dean Clark, underrated, physical, and a perfect depth addition. TE, Lachey, fills a need as a blocking tight end. So there it is, the full class. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop your grade in the comments, A through F, and let me know what you think. Would you change anything? Love it? Hate it? Let's hear it. And hey, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay locked in for more.